Hey guys, I'm Laura MacGyver and I'm back to recap another episode of Teen Mom 2. I am so excited to recap this episode. I disagreed with a lot, so let's get into it. So getting into Leah. So she gave us major vacation envy. She went to Hawaii with the girls. She was there with her mom's friend, which was really random. Now, everyone would be focused on pina coladas, surfing, everything that Hawaii has to offer. She was focused on her ex-husband, Jeremy Calvert. She said to her mom she wants to spend alone time with him. No kids, nothing. She just wants to see if the spark is still there. The spark is still there, Leah. That's why you invited him to Hawaii, because you want to rekindle this romance. She wanted him there in the worst way. Someone who didn't want him there was her daughter, Aaliyah. She was furious. She did kind of admit to being jealous that if Leah and Jeremy do get back together, then Addie's parents are together. A lot for a 10-year-old to say. I was pretty impressed. I was like, the fact that she understands that at such a young age, but Leah was very open, saying, I tried to make it work. However, we're gonna see what happens with Jeremy. They did agree to go out on a date when they get back. So hopefully they'll be able to feature that, because I would love to see that. So Brianna, so her little baby girl is 2. So Stella was celebrating her birthday, and even though there were a lot of problems with cheating and their trip was kind of awkward and John said he wasn't gonna move, he did agree to come down to Florida and celebrate, but she didn't want to invite her dad. So Brianna asked Nova, do you want your dad to come, Devon? And she was like, well, is John gonna be there? Then that's fine. So she kind of picked John over her dad being at Stella's birthday. Roxanne disagreed with how Brianna put Nova on the spot with John there about talking, about inviting Devon. I think she's too young to put her in that situation. Devon has been there for Stella for so much. He's kind of been like a dad to her. And the fact that he wasn't invited to her second birthday, but was invited to her first birthday, I think was wrong. He's always around. Stella adores him. And I think Brianna should have just, been the bigger person and invited him. I think it was wrong to leave him out, all because of what happened at the pool. He got drunk. Brianna, move on. Nova moved on. Everyone's moving on. So I think she should have invited him because he's trying, and that's all that matters. So Jade, we saw she broke up with her boyfriend, Sean, and she was just reconnecting with her mom, Christy, who she's had a lot of problems with. After her breakup, she, started relying on her, calling her, seeing her more often. So Jade was very against letting Sean see Chloe, their daughter, because she claimed that he's back on drugs. So Jade gave her mom, her little baby girl, Chloe, $200 for a hotel and to turn on her phone. Jade, I guess, wanted a night out with friends and said, okay, as long as I could stay in contact with you, as long as you have a place to stay that I know, you could have my daughter for the night. The next day, couldn't find her mom, couldn't find her baby. She called her grandma. No one heard from her. The phone was not turned on, so she has no idea where her daughter is. So she's freaking out. Later on, her mom finally calls from a random number. Even Jade said, this might be an ad. I don't even know who this is. Everything was fine. She was like, yeah, the baby's breathing. The baby, thank you. Like, it was just so casual, and her mom just didn't even seem to care that Jade was freaking out. Later on, Christy came over, dropped Chloe off. They had this huge fight, and Jade said, I wish I just knew where my baby was. You have to keep me updated. It was very tense. It was very awkward. Jade's mom stormed out, didn't even show up the next day to babysit Chloe, so now Jade was late for school. I think she is a hypocrite because she's not letting Sean see her daughter because she claims that he's on drugs. Jade has also made claims against her mom being on drugs. And we've previously discussed how Jade's mom has struggled with drug addiction. So she's letting her mom see her baby, but she's not letting her baby daddy see his baby. So it was a very messy situation. I think Jade is just trying to figure it out. However, I don't think she's going about it the right way. I think if you claim that your mom's having problems with drugs and Sean, why are you picking one over the other? Especially Sean, he wants to see his daughter. I thought it was a little unfair. So I guess we'll see what happens, because Sean's, he's still trying to be involved and he's still trying to improve. So Kale was not able to film in Hawaii, and I didn't even know she was going to be in this episode because she wasn't even in the promo. She was. And we learned that Chris Lopez was on the trip. So Kale was talking to the boys, about it because we couldn't see anything that they did. Kale asked, who surprised us in Hawaii? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, who? Chris! And they were so excited. It was so sweet to see. And we all just were like, huh? Chris was there? It was just so casual. And she was like, yeah, were you guys excited? But they seemed like they had a great time. So I love how MTV kind of just gave Kale like 3 minutes. And those 3 minutes, it was just boom, Chris Lopez was there. Chelsea, she is now a businesswoman. So she did the diaper bags, a huge success, obviously. So now a boutique near her reached out and said, let's have a photo shoot. Chelsea actually agreed. Chelsea is just such a hermit crab and she just wants to stay in her house. She's so shy. And all of a sudden she's like this glamorous supermodel. It's like taking all these photos and just, living the dream. All these cute outfits. She was able to bring her kids. So the boutique said, we love your fashion. It's so different than what we normally have. Guys, we've loved Chelsea's fashion since she was 16 years old. Like some of the leopard and cheetah, like back then it was a little crazy, but everyone still loved it. So they wanted to create this little line with her and she was all about it. Went to her first business meeting and she was overwhelmed. She was kind of especially overwhelmed with the kids. She said, I don't want to put my kids in daycare. That is the one thing. Cole was beautiful and gorgeous as always, was like, no, you don't need to do that. We will figure it out. And it was just like, perfect as always. But I'm excited to see what she has to offer the clothing company and just more things. We kind of saw the 2 plaids, but I'm excited to see the whole background process and what she'll do. So let's get into next week's episode a little bit. So Chelsea doesn't want any more babies. She's a little exhausted, just like every other mom in the world. And she looked at Cole and said, no more babies. We all know that she will be having more babies. When you have a gorgeous husband, you just keep reproducing basically. So Jade is crying over her mom. She was in the car and just said, I feel like I have no parents. Jade has been very open about her parents' drug addiction struggles and how they've been in and out of her life. So I feel like with her breakup with Sean, trying to raise Chloe at 18 years old and just the absence of them, like she's just overwhelmed and she's just breaking down crying. It's definitely going to be sad to watch all this unfold for her. Brianna and John, they have a couple struggles. It looks like he's back in Florida and she was just like, I'm really, really trying here. And it looks like they're trying to make things work, but they both know that it's not going to. Leah. So this looks like it's going to be a very emotional episode for her. She talks about her daughter, Allie, and her struggles that she's having. We know that she has a muscle disorder, so she's trying to keep up with her sisters. We've seen over the past few seasons, Allie is really, really trying to keep up with her twin and Addie when it comes to running and playing in the pool and everything, and she can't, and it's a struggle because she's such a smart girl, and you can see that in the way she carries herself, but she's trapped in this body, and it's heartbreaking to see. And I love the fact that Leah and Corey share this storyline because it's so rare. So it looks like it's going to be very, very emotional for her. So it's going to be sad to watch. So for Kale, they're back from Hawaii. Looks like they're celebrating Lux's birthday and Chris Lopez is there. However, he's not filming. So Kale actually told the producer that Chris will spit on any camera if it's pointed his way. Interesting. He knew that he was dating a reality star since day one, but he's threatening to spit in front of the camera as if they even point at him. We've blurred out his face for years, and it's interesting to think back to the Hawaii trip. He knew Kale couldn't film. MTV most likely pays for these trips, so it's kind of like, are they together? It just seems like a perfect combination for Chris. Free trip possibly, no cameras, quality time with Kale if they're still together. Chris is one big mystery to all of us, and I do wish he would just film already, just like one episode. That's all we want. It's just one episode from Chris Lopez. Well, everyone, that is all I have for this week's episode. Make sure you check back next week to see me recap another episode of Teen Mom 2, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel below. Bye, everyone.